Check 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 3 4.
Check 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 3 4.
Check, check, check. You good? Sounds good and everything. Outtake everything.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're gonna sit here. We're gonna talk about you. What I'll talk to you about, being from Memphis, coming here, and all that. We'll talk a little bit about your team. We'll talk a lot about your team, and then we'll. I couldn't get a sports writer here, so I'm gonna go through the top 10 games.
Right.
If there's any game you want to talk about, say, hey, I've seen Gallatin Beach, whatever. If you've seen any of them, you want to say, hey, give me an inside scoop of what you think's gonna happen. I don't want you to make any predictions.
No.
But if you want to say, hey, I've seen Beach on film. The running back's really good, or whatever. If you see any of these guys, Ensworth, BA, Brentwood. I think you played Brentwood regular season. You've seen Pearl. I mean, Hi everyone, Tom Kreager with the Tennessean. Welcome to the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. This is our live high school football show. Welcome to Cane Ridge football guru, Mr. Eddie Woods. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Happy to be here, man.
So tell me, might want to put the mic up a little bit. You guys are on a tear. You know, you started 0-2, lost to a really good Pearl Cone team. Lost to a really good Brentwood team, and then since then, playing lights out. And we were talking off camera, had a lot of injuries this year, and you've eventually been getting these guys back. What has this team learned since after week 2 to now entering week 10?
Well, first of all, when your time comes, you got to be ready. You know, there's things that we really can't control. You can try to prevent injury as much as you can as far as the off season and just being proactive on how you protect your players. But at the end of the day, you know, injuries gonna happen, and it just hit us. You know, probably the worst I've ever had in my career since I've been here. But you know, nonetheless, you know, we're starting to get guys back, and we just got to try to put this thing together and try to make a playoff run.
Now, the blessing right now is they weren't season-ending injuries. They're getting healthy a lot. I think everyone's pretty much back. And because of that, you were able to play a lot of kids early on, and they got a taste of everything. How much, looking back, of maybe you might have a little more depth right now than maybe you wouldn't have had if those injuries hadn't occurred?
Of course, you know, going to the playoffs, you want to be hot and you want to have depth on both sides of the ball. I think we've definitely was able to do that. Kids playing in multiple spots, you know, and you're going to need those things because you never know what's going to happen throughout the course of a game in the playoffs and what play you're going to need. So I think we'll more. I know it hurt us in the beginning, but we'll more so see the benefits of that coming up in the playoffs.
This is a different team than what I've seen the last couple of years from you. I mean, at least last year you had Devin Starling. You had the other kid from Milan moved in. What's his name?
Jaquez Norman.
Jaquez on there, and you never knew which one was going to have the hot hand. I mean, of course, Devin ends up winning Mr. Football. First ever from Cane Ridge, was our Player of the Year. He's now at Memphis, I believe.
Right.
And this team's more of an aerial team. You haven't really had to show the run game. And you know, we were talking that you can run. You think you can run the ball. You think you got some guys there, but you've really been a passer. The quarterback, is it Xavion Clemens? I mean, he missed a couple weeks, but he's really on a tear lately.
Yeah, just a hardworking kid. Got an old school grind to him. You know, that kid is we knew he was really, really good, and we gave him all the reps in the off season. So when he got hurt right before the season, you know, it kind of happened. It was what it was. But Mitch was able to step in there, and now it actually paid dividends for Mitchell too, because by him playing quarterback, he was able to pick up on our system faster. So now he can move around more. So that was good as well. But you know, I think we'll be fine moving forward. Running the ball, you can't replace those two guys. We're not trying to replace those two guys. But what you can do is just find other ways schematically to get that production, and that's what we've been working on. And we got some things that really hadn't shown as much, but we feel like we can do to get the run game going.
You got you have one of some of the most dynamic receivers in this area. You got Quentin Barnes, who everyone wants. He's a 2021 kid. Adonai Mitchell came up from Texas. He's a senior this year. He's getting a lot of great looks, a lot of good offers. And then is it Tyrod?
Tyrod.
Yeah,
Tyrod good.
Tyrod good,
Yes.
and he's a guy that can maybe get in the backfield if you need him there, but he's kind of that slot guy that he gives you. I mean, that's a trio that if you're a secondary of your opponent's secondary, they're going to have trouble trying to slow down all three of those.
And I think that helps us run the game as well, getting lighter boxes, because you got to play coverage over those guys. Quinn has pretty much been toughing out all season. He's been playing with a high ankle sprain since week 1. He's just been toughing out this type of kid he is. And Tyrod was able to take advantage of some of the injuries and things like that. But like I said, he can cover the whole field. He can actually run the ball. I mean, he got like 3 or 4 kick returns on the year, which is and he can punt return, and Dunn is also punt returning too. So getting that good field position and getting those big plays and keeping defense on the heels is what we're going to try to do moving forward.
Barnes was on that ran track on the relay teams that were so good at state. So obviously a healthy Quentin Barnes, that gives you another deep ball threat, because I mean he has got some great speed for you.
Oh yeah, and also Xavion is not shabby running the ball either. Okay. He's pretty much fully healthy now, so I mean he can also run the ball as well. But you know, Quentin's going to demand coverage, but I don't it's going to be rough because Donna's going to demand coverage too. He's a guy that can work the whole field and go deep as well.
That helps good, I guess, out there.
Yeah, it's been helping him.
Yeah.
It's been helping him because a lot of people been playing coverage over top of those guys, and he's just been doing great in the middle of the field. But I mean, he can also play outside too. He's a smart kid that knows the backfield. He knows outside. We'll shift him in the backfield, things like that. So we're just finding schematically finding ways to improve the running game as well.
Now, you're from Memphis.
I am.
You were previously coaching at Melrose, your alma mater.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had a little Nashville in you.
Yeah.
You went and played at TSU for Coach Reese.
Yes.
Why leave home, your alma mater, to come to Cane Ridge? Why did you make that decision a few years ago?
Well, I love Memphis. It was hard to leave, and I actually grew up in that community. I played there. My brother played there. He went to UT and played on the national championship team as well, and it was hard to leave there. But I just wanted to try something different. I've been in Nashville before, so I just wanted to come back here, and I've really been enjoying it since I've been back.
Well, what's been enjoyable is the way you've built this program. I mean, 2 seasons ago you made it to Cookeville in the 6A championship. It was a great learning experience. From there, brought home the runner-up there against a really good Maryville team.
Program.
What a program there. It's like I think you remember saying, hey, that's where we want to get to.
Yeah.
And I just think it's amazing what you've been able to do. How much of when you first came there, you say, hey, I'm going to put what I did at Melrose there, or do you look and say, I got different kind of kids, I got to do something different?
Well, I don't know if kids is changed as much as it has adults. I come from an old school type mentality. I just want to bring a blue collar work ethic and toughness to the program. They had the potential there. The school and great unbelievable administration. They had everything there to be good. So we just came in with that type of work ethic, and it sounded crazy at first that we started beating a good team here, a big team there, a ranked team there. And then it started making sense, and I think that's just kind of spiraling into where we are now.
Now, Melrose, you coached Tony Pollard.
I did.
When he went on to Memphis and now with the Cowboys, you knew all along he's got what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
What did you see in him that you knew? Because if this kid doesn't quit and he continues to improve, he's got a chance to be really special.
Man, Tony's one of those kids that everything just come easy to him. And he also played with some other guys. A kid in Missouri, Jonathan Johnson, played with him, and Cornelius Sturgill starting corner at Louisville, so they played together. And those guys, they all ran track and everything. But Tony was not that fast at first.
Okay.
And when he got to Murray, I said, hey, you're talented, but you got to get fast. You got to get the home run speed. And he just bought into the work ethic. He'll do everything you tell him to do. He's just one of those type of kids. And I always had to work and grind for what he had. Same thing at Memphis. His junior year, he broke his ankle, and it kind of hurt his recruiting. And Memphis was loyal to him. He stayed with him, and it paid off for him.
So this week, 6-2 Cane Ridge at Ravenwood, 7-1. Whew, this is a great game. This is a great non-region game, and we were talking. This could be a preview of the second round of the 6A playoffs. Now, right now, you've locked up number 1 in your region.
Right.
And that would be Region 5 6A. Ravenwood right now is tied with Independence for second in 6 6A. Ravenwood Independence, they meet week 11. If Ravenwood wins, they would be on your portion of that bracket.
Right.
For those that don't understand the playoffs, that's how it will work. And then the third place team, either Independence or Ravenwood, whichever loses, they would go up there with Brentwood. They could potentially see Brentwood in that second round. So potential great. I mean, this is a great game, but it also, we could be seeing this again. Did you think did that play into anything? Thinking there's a chance, we're 2 really good teams. We could potentially think of play in November. Did that think about that? Or were you all just trying to fill a schedule, or thinking, hey, we just want to play a really good team?
Well, a little bit of try. We tried to fill a schedule. We didn't want to travel too much if we can help it. So that was a big factor from it. And we just enjoy playing each other, man. Coach Dane does a great job at Ravenwood. You really have you on your toes schematically and things like that and preparing for them. So we're going to have to see each other again anyway. And I talked to Coach Crawford not too long ago. He said we're going to have some really good teams, and somebody got to go home in the first, second round. So that's just kind of how this thing goes when we cross over. So, it is what it is. And I expect it to be a great game like it's been the past 2 years. It's always come down to the wire. Hopefully we can be on the other side of it, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing, having already played Brentwood. You got to feel like when you guys get to that second season, they call it the playoffs, you're thinking, hey, we've played Brentwood, we will have played Ravenwood. They are two of the top 3 teams that we'll see out of that region. You gotta feel like, hey, we've been tested. We know what we're gonna. We may have to improve some areas, but we know what we're gonna see.
It's gonna come down to least mistakes and special teams, and everything's gonna matter. You know, I think today we spent about an hour and 15, hour and a half on special teams, so those things are gonna matter. It's gonna come down to every single detail, and we know that, we understand that, and our kids have been in this situation before since I've been here, and we got a lot of kids that's played deep in the playoffs, so they understand how the practice go. Now it's more mental than anything.
Ravenwood's a lineup that you know they're a special group with a lot of kids with a lot of offers. A lot of them are already committed. You know, they got a kicker punter going to UCLA. We know about their defense with Brian Rice, who was a big hospital last year, and Grimes. I think they moved him more to the defensive end now. He can go to linebacker. They've got throwing threat with Garcia. They can do Mason. What's the challenge of facing a Ravenwood?
Well, first of all, you got to know how to line up right and adjust the shifts and motions. A lot of things have to be built in from your defense. Your kids are going to have to think on their own, and he forced you to do that. And but my staff and I, we were praying January for those things, just lining up and just trying to say what if and doing things like that. So, you know, we put in our kids, and they're making the checks and things like that, what's necessary to play this type of team. And then, you know, they have a winning quarterback. He just knows how to win. He knows how to stem plays.
Been there forever, too.
Yeah, he has. We played him 2 years ago in the third round. Yeah, so they,
Which was a great game, I think.
It was. We traded games, and both of those games come down to the last. And actually, the game we won 2 years ago came down to a special teams play. And then theirs came down to a last drive last time. So I mean, you know, you just that's what you coach for.
Yeah, that was the one I think where one of the twins, didn't they break a long punt or kick right after they had scored or something?
Yeah, that's one of those things we worked. They got tired of me working this sky return we have, and you know, we said they might sky kick to the corner. They did, and we got it back to the middle, and that stuff. But that's the things you have to work on preparing for the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, Coach. We're gonna go through our top 10 games. I don't want you to make any predictions. No predictions here.
No.
But we're gonna go through our top 10 games. If you know anything about these guys, we're gonna ask you to chime in, give me a little scouting report, what you know about some of these. We will pick your game. I will pick your game, and don't hit me if we pick against you. But no, and this is a good bulletin board material. If I don't pick you guys, so I'm sure not that you guys would ever use bulletin board material. Do y'all really use bulletin board material? Is there such thing as bulletin board material in 2019?
Yeah, I don't know a coach that doesn't. You know, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But you know,
peruse social media, looking for that bulletin board material.
I don't really look for it. I like when people pick against us. We're on the radar. It keeps us humble. You know, so it's fine with me.
All right, game of the week, folks. Game of the week this week was going to be Gallatin 8-0 at Beach 8-0. That's Shackle Island Stadium there at Beach. Great atmosphere there. They're both 3-0 in Region 6-5A. Whoever wins this game is going to be the top seed. It's as simple as that, guys. Whoever wins is going to be number 1. Whoever loses, I believe, is number 2. And this game's going to go down as one of the quickest high school football games in Sumner County history. Why? Because you have 2 of the top running backs in 5A in Gallatin, Spencer Briggs, and Beach's Deshaun Parks. Spencer Briggs, if you would have told me pick a Mr. Football winner at the midway point, I would have told you Spencer Briggs had a little over 1,000 yards. Didn't play a couple weeks ago against Hunters Lane. They arrested him. Hasn't played a bunch. 1,300 yards, 1,311 yards, 13 rushing touchdowns, whereas Deshaun Parks, 945 yards, 16 rushing touchdowns. To me, this game's going to be won on the line of scrimmage. My guess is you'll see a combined about 10 or 15 passes. Coach, how tough is it to play? You've seen both programs in the past.
It's hard to play at Shackle Island. I played up there, and we barely made it out of there. But, I mean, Coach Crabtree, it looked like he just handed the ball off, man. But I'm telling you, inside, schematically, he can get double teams and numbers inside. And he do a lot of stuff, man, and it's hard to defend. So it's not as easy as it looked to defend. So that's going to be a slobber knocker game.
I'm picking Gallatin 21, Beach 17. Beach, take it easy on me when you see me there Friday night. So next game, Cane Ridge 6-2 at Ravenwood 7-1. We talked about it at length. To me, this is a chance. I won't say good chance. This is a chance. This could be a preview of a second round or somewhere in the playoffs. These two teams could meet again. We talked a lot about it. I like Xavier Clemens a lot. I think he's added a lot to this offense since his return. I think it puts Adonai Mitchell back to his more natural position, which gives you a little more offensive threats there. I really like this offense of Ravenwood, though. I thought Brian Garcia's played really well the last 2 or 3 weeks. He's had some great games. They found a way to get Andrew Mason back in the flow the last couple weeks. I like them a lot. I'm going to go Ravenwood 42-35. I think it's a close game. I think there will be some points scored Friday night.
Well, I like them too. They're pretty good. So we got to go out there and we got to stop them. They got guys that can hurt you. So we got. It is what it is.
I think this team, this if you like offense, I'm not saying anything about the defense. I think both of these offenses are really talented. There's a chance where you're seeing a lot of ground game. I think in Gallatin Beach. I think you see a lot of aerial attack. Cane Ridge at Ravenwood.
Right, and I know my defense coordinator wasn't like that, but I think we'll do fine against them.
All right, next game, Ensworth at Brentwood Academy. Ensworth 6-2, 2-1 Division II, AAA East at Brentwood Academy 5-3, 1-2. Wow, Brentwood Academy loss would be a big hit for their playoff chances. The one thing different about D2 AAA this year is only the top 4 teams in both the East Region and West Region make the playoffs this year. Brentwood Academy right now is that 4th place team, but they're just in front of Catholic. BA is 1-2. Catholic is 1-3. Catholic's last game is Father Ryan. Right now, Father Ryan is last, so you got to think they're probably going to win this. Whereas BA finishes with Ensworth and Baylor back-to-back weeks. That's a big hit with BA, who's been. We talk about injuries with Cane Ridge. BA's been hit hard with injuries. I know Devin Curtis had a high ankle sprain, did not play against NBA a couple weeks ago. I got BA 17-14. I think this is a game that BA has to win, and against a very, very talented Ensworth team. Rock Batten has done a great job. I just think BA has to win this game to keep their playoff hopes alive, and I think they'll rise to the occasion.
Yeah, it's hard to pick that one. It's really hard to pick that one, but I think it'll be a good game like it always is.
Knoxville Catholic 5-3 at Brentwood 7-1. I think this Catholic team, I saw them against Ensworth. I think this team is very, very different with Caden Martin at quarterback. Nothing against the Jancic kid who is doing a great job, but I just think they give you another dimension. He's got the arm, he's got the coaching quarterback pedigree in T. Martin. And something about this kid, he's going to be good. He's just a sophomore. But Cade Granzel, you've seen him head-to-head. I think, and I've told him this face-to-face, I think from week 1 to week 9, he might have improved more than anyone quarterback position in Middle Tennessee. I mean, he's just gotten so good of throwing the football, running the football. And now when he tells me, hey, I'm an Auburn baseball commitment, but I really want to play football. You can see he's a football player.
Yeah, he's definitely a football player. He looked like one too. He's pretty big too.
Yeah,
so
6'3", 215.
Yeah, and he can run, and he got a hell of an arm. And Coach Crawford, they do a great job at putting them guys in position on offense and make plays too.
Walker Merrill, 50 catches, 407 yards. I think that might be the difference if they can keep him involved. Brentwood 27, Knoxville Catholic 21 is what I have. Interesting game here. Pearl Cone 8-0 at Independence 6-2. Very interesting game. Ethan Cash 225.6 yards a game throwing the football. Gonna test Pearl Cone secondary. Really like Martino Owens and what he's done. I know you saw him week 1. He's got a touch. I mean, when I saw him against you, I mean, it surprised me for a first start ever what the touch he has on the football.
Right.
I like Pearl Cone 27-21. I think their defense will rise to the occasion against a very strong passing attack of Independence. Nolensville at Franklin. Nolensville 8-0 at Franklin 3-5. 4A versus 6A game here. Really like Ryder Gallardi and Tim Kutris, probably one of the best quarterback receiver duos in 4A. Gallardi's almost 1,300 yards passing, 17 touchdowns. Kutris, 31 catches, 596 yards, 8 touchdowns. And also has around 7 picks for the season on defense. Nolensville 24-21. They'll stay undefeated going into a big region game with Marshall County. A couple more games. NBA 5-3 at Baylor 8-1. NBA maybe one of the hottest teams in D2 land right now, especially D2 AAA. Started the season 0-2, scored just a combined 21 points. They've won 4 straight and averaging 20 points behind quarterback Marcel Reed. You know, you probably saw Marcel growing up there at TSU, right?
Yeah, I probably think he was a baby then, though, but that's a while back. But yeah, that's Coach Reed's son.
Was he that skinny back then?
Well, he probably was a baby then, so I can't really remember.
Okay, 604 yards since he's been inserted in the quarterback there at NBA. I like Baylor there, though. The 2 transfers from Baylor this year from the running back and quarterback too much. I like Baylor 35-21 over the Big Red. Creekwood at Portland. Creekwood 7-1, 3-1 in Region 5 4A. At Portland 4-5, 3-2. Creekwood's in that log jam in the top of the region standings with Creekwood, Montgomery Central, and Springfield. A lot of, as one coach told me, it's really muddy up in the pairings right now. This is because all 3 of them are 3-1, and all of them have a shot right now with 2 games left. A lot of stuff will be determined this week with some big games. I like Creekwood 28-14 in this game. I think Creekwood's got one of those special teams, and I think they might be the favorite to win that region. 2 more games before we wrap it up. Eagleville 6-2 at Mount Pleasant 5-3. Eagleville's won 4 of their past 5 games. That includes a 13-7 win over Summertown last week. Interesting thing on this game and something to look at. Talked to Floyd Walker via text message this week. Trevor Griffin in at quarterback for Marcus Collins, 1,390 yards for Marcus Collins this year. Did not play, has a foot injury. I think he'll be back for the playoffs. I don't know if he'll be back for this week. With it being a non-region game, I think you hold him out even if he is healthy. But Trevor Griffin, who's a really standout defensive back for him, 145 yards in the air, 115 yards last week on the ground. I think they're doing just fine. They should be able to beat Mount Pleasant. And final game, Lebanon, 4-4, 2-1 at Wilson Central, 4-4, 1-2. Here's the interesting. Lebanon's trying to keep that second place in Region 6A. Wilson Central's trying to stay on to that 4th place finish in same region. The bigger concern I have, they have the tiebreaker against Rossview. Wilson Central does. Lebanon has the tiebreaker, I believe, with Hendersonville. The big concern right now is Wilson Central started the season 4-0. They've lost 4 straight. They got to figure out how to end the season on a high note. But I'm going Lebanon 38, Wilson Central 13. A couple of shout-outs. James Moore, magic. He was magical. 56 carries, I think 239 yards, both touchdowns. 56 carries, ties a state record set in, I believe, 1981 by a kid from Warren County. Watched it, and I was counting each one, and I gave Coach Porter heck for not giving him one more carry at the end of the game. And he said, hey, all we care about is our record right now. So shout out to James Moore. And a record did fall, Kamari McGowan, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think it was 442 rushing yards. That's the most yards ever by a quarterback. Don't ask me why the TSLA, and with all the records they have, why they would keep most rushing yards by a quarterback. Yeah. But that record goes to Kamari McGowan. He's normally a running back. Only carried it 17 times. Scored 7 touchdowns. Scored 5 2-point conversions. Have you ever had a kid account for 58 points
I've never seen
in one game?
No. It's hard to get 58 points as a team, let alone one kid. So.
Yeah, so 58 points. He was at quarterback only because their top 3 quarterbacks were hurt. So they put him in there. They had to go for 2 because their place kicker or holder was also out. So injury bug has hit MTCS. Something you're well aware of, that sort of stuff. But shout out to Kamari McGowan there. Again, game of the week will be Gallatin at Beach, 7 o'clock kickoff. Shaco Island there. And if you're not going there, go down to Ravenwood, Cane Ridge at Ravenwood. This guy here, they'll try to win the 7th straight game, folks. They're on a tear. They face a really good Ravenwood game. if we didn't have an undefeated versus undefeated, that's where I would be this week. It's a great game there. So go down there to Ravenwood, 7 o'clock kickoff there as well as we head closer to the playoffs. Coach, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate being here. And if you don't mind, I want to send a shout-out to my coaching staff as well. Been at Cane Ridge is our 5th year, and we got our 50th win last week. So, I think that's a team achievement. So I'm proud of those guys.
Good. And how'd you celebrate?
We didn't. We just went to the next game. So
that's the right answer. Go to the next game and try to get win number 51.
That's it. That's all we can do.
All right, Coach. I appreciate you. We'll see you next week. We got some special announcements coming up. We got some special things going on next week as we head to the playoffs. Of course, Week 11, the regular season finale is next Friday. So Week 10, I haven't looked. Do we have good weather?
Yeah. Supposed a 30% chance or so.
Okay, hopefully I bought a raincoat, so we will not have rain, folks. We'll see you next week.